The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off.
Feelings don't matter, so brace yourself tight. He'll lay it down heavy, he'll light up the night. No sugar-coated tales, just cold hard facts. In the realm of opinions, there's no turning back. Listen closer, just walk away. But Aaron had to say it, come what may. Here comes Aaron with the truth untold. No holding back, watch the truth unfold. On the podcast, airways feel the righteous sting. You either take it in or let the silence ring.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're gonna start out as we do by saying to Iceman, Jason, Javier, Fitz, McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, to the guys from the Weather Report, to Billy G, to Walt from the B-Raw Podcast, to Kate, the Duchess of New Jersey, to Boomer Bob, and to George Fonts of the World of Blaze Podcast. Thank you guys for your continued support of the show. I really do appreciate it. Today is November 3rd, Monday. I mean, we just had Halloween this weekend, had a fantastic guest appearance on Razor Wire, formerly Whiskey Hell, was their kind of inaugural standalone guest in a standard episode. They did do, for their landmark, like I think it was the 200th episode, they did do a episode where they had a bunch of friends of the show on, but it was kind of a group thing. It was not the standard format, didn't really go through the same kind of stories. This was the first time it was like an actual Razor Wire episode with my big dumb ass as the featured guest. I thought it was a great show. I might be biased. I think if you're not checking out Razor Wire at this point, it means you haven't been listening to me for all this time. Unless you're new to the show, in which case, hey, welcome to the show. Go listen to Razor Wire. It's a phenomenal show. They present facts, they give their interpretation of the matters, but they always try to be as nonpartisan, as unbiased, and actually factual. You know, the way things used to be before the world went, everybody's feelings were more valid than the fucking truth. Yeah, I don't like the circumstances. The government's still shut down. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of foreplay and not a lot of kicking things around at this point. It's going to be it's just I'm going to talk about the things as they pop into my head, because unfortunately my notes are they're not good. My show notes are kind of ass this week because I've been using my show notebook to write a bunch of other things down that are unfortunately required. So when I realized I didn't have any show notes, but my brain did not do the logical thing of saying, hey, you know what? You need to be writing shit down for the show, because my brain said, you've been writing in that big ass notebook all week, so you must have a lot of good notes for the show. No, I don't. I have a lot of good notes for the other shit that I've been writing stuff down for. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of overlap in those two things. So tis what it is. Welcome to the chat, Bruce. Bruce is in the Zoom meeting chat, which is exclusive content for those of you who are supporters of the show. So, for those of you who don't know, Bruce is I've talked about Bruce in the past. He does a weathered view. He does a weathered report. He's the ringleader in the herding cats circus that happens every weekday morning on X. He has a weekend episodes where they actually do serious episodes and talk about good stuff. Him and Ken and occasionally Jason, and they have guests and they do talks, and it's a good thing. So yeah, as long as I'm rambling about other stuff, yeah, go check that out too. Razor Wire, Weathered Report, Weathered View, all available wherever you can find your podcast, wherever you're listening to this. It's entertaining as hell most of the time. I mean, sometimes there's some moments where it kind of gets really thoroughly off the rails, and those are entertaining too. But there's a regular cast of cohorts, and then there's a few additives in there too. Yes, so that's available on X. I've completely derailed myself as to where I was going. Oh yeah, so over the weekend, Friday was Halloween. I don't know about the rest of the country. Around here, it was very tame. I was surprised there were not a ton of trick-or-treaters out. I don't know if that's just dying off with this generation. I know trunk or treat's gotten really popular. My son, I believe, I don't know if they did one this year. I know last year he and his fiance they were at a trunk or treat giving out candy and stuff. I'm assuming they probably did it again. They They're cool people like that. But yeah, I mean, the going door to door in costumes, knocking on strangers' doors, taking candy from them seems to be kind of dying out, and I mean, it's sad in a lot of reasons. Like you don't see as many decorations out as well, I need to put an asterisk on that because like down the street from my house, there are two houses that are like in competition to see who can do more of a Clark Griswold job of decorating their house. So it's yeah, there. I mean, you get those giant like $300 12-foot tall skeletons. They've got like a half a dozen of them. They've got dragons and freaking zombies, and I mean, it's really cool stuff. I should go out and take some pictures of it. But they already took the decorations out. That's the other thing too. The Griswold family, it's a retired couple. They decorate their house for all the holidays, keeps them busy. I'll give them their credit. They had their Halloween decorations down by the second. Like Sunday afternoon, I drove by to run to the store, and everything was down except for three of the skeletons. I mean, and one of them was a skeletonized fucking dragon. It's ginormous. It's like probably 14 or 15. I mean, that's a three-story house, and it goes two-thirds of the way up. So probably 18 feet tall. Thing is insane. Had to be probably a grand. It was nuts. Anyway, yeah. But I've been noticing that kind of dying off, and the night before Halloween, mischief night for some people, devil's night for others, depending on what it's a regional thing, I guess. No, not a lot of shenanigans really going on, which is probably for the best because in today's day and age, it's probably not safe to let your kids out there with cases of toilet paper and cartons of eggs and doing property damage and petty little raucous stuff. But the old in me gets nostalgic for the old days, like going out and TPing a bunch of houses, and now they do it for like homecoming and stuff. It's like I said, it just doesn't feel the same. It don't feel right to me, and I'm an old and I'm aware of it. In my day, we used to go out and we would toilet paper and throw eggs at people we liked, and then anybody that grew up during COVID, that has to sound so fucking weird. We had so much toilet paper and eggs, we used them for hooliganism. Yeah, that's how bad times have gotten. That's how good we had it back in the day. Shit that nobody could get from 2019 to 2022 without an arm and a leg. We used to use it for shenanigans. I tell you, old man yells at cloud moment. What can I say? But yeah, so that happened. Vote number 14 went through. The Senate has once again refused to pass the CR to fund the government, open the government. Every leftist yammering talking head, including all the leftist politicians, are out there ranting and screaming about how Trump is shutting down. He's taking away people's food. He's illegally refusing to fund SNAP, and it drives me nuts because you get all the same again leftist short bus retards that are out there, and they're trying to rile up their base, the illiterate, entitled, parasitic class that understands they didn't get their free shit this month. I have a whole lot of thoughts on the matter, which I'm sure is a shock to anybody who's just finding this show. Like, oh my God, Aaron has opinions? No way. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sure they're going to be very calm and collective and very reasonable. And they are, depending on where you stand in the world. I think they're reasonable anyway. But the thing about it is, literally, it's been a little over, not quite 72 hours at this point. It's been 50 some hours since the SNAP benefits didn't load, right? So today is Monday. Today would be, a good day to stop and think about these things. Today is also the day where the 14th vote went through and not a single Democrat vote across the aisle to vote to fund all these programs that they are out here riling up their fucking base about. Well, Trump's trying to starve you. He's not going to give you guys what you want. Him. Every Republican in the Senate, minus one, voted yay to pass the CR, which would fund SNAP, fund EBT, fund all this other shit, and do it. None of the Democrats, save for John Fetterman, who's the only fucking rational leftist, or he's not a leftist, he's a Democrat. I'll give him that. He's holding truer to a more reasonable version of democracy, of being a Democrat, not the I hate that I can't use words these days because of the associations that have been hijacked by these fucking retards who use them wrong and change their meanings to try and illustrate their fucking points. So anyway, I digress. The point being, the left is still refusing to fund the government and is still blaming Republicans, the right, and Trump, specifically Trump, who has no control over the purse strings. That's the whole point of Congress has the power of the purse. They're blaming him that SNAP is going away. They're saying, oh, well, he's refusing to use these emergency funds. No, technically, he can't. I mean, he does not have the legal authority to use these funds. It has already been determined that he does not have the legal authority to disperse these funds. Furthermore, even if he did, it's not even enough to fund 2 weeks worth of like nobody would get their full benefits if he drained that reserve fund with the amount of claimants on EBT right now. It wouldn't be able to be a fully funded month for a single fucking person. So either not everybody gets funded or everybody gets a little bit. And it would drain the fund and it still wouldn't be enough. And these entitled, whiny, just puling motherfuckers that are out here having a fit. And the same ones I talked about last week, actually. The ones who are like, if we don't get our free shit, we gonna steal shit. You know what? You do you. One of the things that kills me, and again, I've talked about this in the past, you get to see these motherfuckers, oh, I get $3,000 a month for me and my 9 fucking kids on EBT. Meanwhile, you motherfuckers that are paying taxes and paying for my EBT are trying to fucking budget and decide whether or not you can get a name brand fucking ice cream or if you got to get fucking Shecky's House of fucking Vanilla if you want to have something sweet as a treat. Because, God forbid you go out and work 40 hours a week and want something you're going to actually make a little joy in your life. If you're just a fucking working class stiff like I used to be, and you're going to be an average motherfucker that pays their taxes, goes to work, does their fucking job, does what they're supposed to do, and tries to support their own fucking selves, then you are, you have to make choices. Meanwhile, you get these motherfucking freeloading pieces of shit who are out there flexing with their new cell phones, their new hair did, their nails done, all this other bullshit that they're paying cash for because they don't have to pay to support themselves. They don't have to pay to live because they're gaming the fucking system. It highlighted for me at least sort of an unintended consequence of this system. It showed something that I haven't really heard anybody talking about when they're bitching about the way the system works and how it created a parasite class and how it had created an entire generations at this point, generations deep of entitled motherfuckers who don't think they should have to work or support themselves or live like the rest of us have to do. They think they deserve the fruits of our fucking labor just simply for existing. And they somehow think it's a flex that they don't do shit, but they're living better than the people who are supporting them. Yeah, that entitled whiny bunch of fucking retards. Another thing that was highlighted by them not getting their balances is every last one of these entitled, bitchy, whiny fuckstains. And now bear in mind, I want to add a caveat to this. When I complain about people receiving public aid, public insurance, Medicaid, fucking, Section 8, EBT, any of this shit, I don't mean the people that are using it the way it was intended. I don't mean the motherfuckers that are looking at it ashamed that they have to take it because they don't have an alternative. The people who need it for help, the people who are using it as assistance as it was intended, the people who, it's single mother with a new kid that can't afford to buy their groceries, the fucking, person that lost their job randomly out of left field, completely blindsided, that maybe has, $20,000 worth of medical expenses in the process of them losing their jobs. The people that without this assistance would all of a sudden be destitute. I don't begrudge them assistance. Don't get me wrong. I am a fucking monster. I'll be the first one to admit it. By a lot of people's definitions, I am a horrible, horrible person. I am inhumane. I am ruthless. I am heartless. I am bloodless. I've been called everything under the fucking sun because of things I believe that basically boil down to, I don't think you deserve everything you want simply because you fucking exist. I do not believe that every fucking life has the same intrinsic value based upon your actions, your behaviors, how you utilize that fucking life. I believe in potential. I believe that every life has the potential to be relevant or significant or to be fantastic or to be amazing. It's all the potential is there. It's what you do with it that determines whether or not I think you're a piece of shit. And to that end, the thing that was highlighted for me, at least, about all these fucking EBT Americans out there who are going around with this just horrible, disgusting sense of entitlement and with this utterly sickening, sanctimonious horseshit. Like, if we don't get our free shit, we acting out. Yeah, no, I have zero sympathy for those people. None. If you are generational deep on fucking welfare, you're a piece of shit. If you think it's okay that, I mean, yeah, maybe it's because you were raised that way and your parents fucking failed you. But if you don't possess the wherewithal and the fucking just sense of self and if you don't possess a sense of self-worth that tells you something's flawed in being a fucking parasite, I don't care at all about your situation. I have no sympathy. I have no empathy because you're making a willing choice that I was raised in this horseshit system. It's good enough for my parents, so it's good enough for me. I've said this before. There was a time when, and it's how I was raised. It's how I tried to raise my kid, where you want your children to be better and to do better than you did. And as a parent, that should be your fucking drive. That should be your goal, to raise kids that are going to be more successful, smarter, and better than you were. And, you know, some of us accomplish that. Some of us can't. Sometimes you get material that you just can't fucking work with. Sometimes the clay is fucking flawed, you know? But at the end of the day, it's as much about nurturing, as much about the environment, as much about passing on values and goals and drives. If you, like I said, if you're 2 or 3 generations deep on welfare and you have the audacity to be self-righteous that I can't do anything because it's retarded that I should have to go out and work when my mama didn't work, and very rarely do you know, fatherless fucking behavior. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a stereotype, but stereotypes exist for a reason, okay? 9 times out of 10, single mother households with ain't shit bitches who kept getting knocked up by every stray dick that gave them some attention said, hey, here's another kid. That's another paycheck. That's all they fucking cared about. They didn't care about raising decent human beings. They didn't care about creating contributing members of society. They cared about getting dick and getting free shit. And people with those kind of values and those kind of beliefs don't fucking contribute, and they're not a net positive for our fucking society. And I'm not going to sit around and pretend like they fucking are to make some fucking bleeding heart liberal feel better about themselves. Like, oh, they don't have the same advantages that I grew up with. They didn't come from a stable family, so I need to feel really bad for their fucked up situation. So you're either dealing with the bigotry of low expectations, where it's you don't think they can be any better, so that's what we have to accept and support and encourage and enhance, which makes you a bigoted piece of shit in my book. That means you think that these people are inherently somehow less than. Now, I think they're inherently somehow less than too, but for an entirely different set of fucking reasons. It's not that I think they're incapable of it. I think it's they are unwilling, because I know people that came from fucked up situations. I know people that grew up in single mother households. I have friends who grew up on public aid. They're whether it was because, you know, dad died or dad wasn't in the fucking picture. Mom was doing the best she could and she needed a fucking hand up. You know what the difference is? They didn't sit back and go, you know what, this is how life is supposed to be. This is how I'm going to live. This is how I'm going to raise my kids to live. This is how things are supposed to be. Somebody else is supposed to take care of me, and I'm supposed to sit around flexing like I'm something special for not being shit. That's the difference. Use the system how it was intended, and I understand that. I accept that. I'm fine with my taxes going to support people who legitimately need a hand up, that aren't going to build a lifestyle around being a non-contributory piece of shit. Those aren't the people I'm talking about when I complain about the EBT Americans, when I bitch about the welfare community, when I say fucking people that are in Section 8 houses should have 2 years of sanctuary. And then after that, if you don't get a job and you don't do something to better your situation, you're fucking done. You know, call me crazy. I don't believe that building an entire parasite class in our country was ever a good fucking look. I genuinely don't. I think it was a horrible fucking idea. Yeah, so I say all of that to eventually get to the point of saying EBT didn't go through. The government shutdown is still closed. They still do not have the capacity to fund SNAP and WIC or any of the other public aid things that are out there. Every Democrat leftist sack of shit governors out there screaming about how it's Trump's fault. Literally, especially my bloated, pasty fuck muppet governor and Gavin Newsom, because they're both still trying to get the Democrat nod for president in 2028. I guarantee it. Newsom's already said he intends to run. That if they manage to get that slimy sack of shit into office, this country is doomed. I'm gonna just come right out and say it. The left is dying. If we can get secure voter ID on the bill, if we could just get that, the Democratic Party would be done. Mandami is going to get elected in New York. A full blown commie is going to take this country and show it what's going to happen. The city of New York is going to turn into fucking John Carpenter's vision of Escape from New York. It's going to be a shithole. Anybody with the means to do so is going to fucking flee. I'm going to say within 18 months of him getting elected, because if he fulfills 2/3 of the ridiculous commie horse shit that he's proposing, that city is going to become unsustainable. It's going to become a crime rampant shithole, worse than it already is. Anyone with any fucking money is going to get the fuck out of there because he's going to be taxing anyone with any kind of means above fucking poverty level right out of the fucking city. And then shit's going to start to collapse because nobody's going to do this shit for free, which is why communism doesn't fucking work. And these like liberal college educated retards are, oh, it just hasn't been done the right way, don't seem to understand that every piece of horse shit that makes it feel is not a bug, it's a fucking feature. It's the way the system fucking works. The problem is every last one of these clowns thinks they're going to be part of the elite ruling class out of the fucking the some people are more equal than others. Yeah, they all think they're going to be that. None of them realize they're the useful fucking idiots and they're going to be the first ones in the fucking gulags should they get their fucking way. So, where was I? Yeah, so the EBT thing, I keep coming back to this because I talked about this last week and it's on my mind still. All these morons on TikTok and YouTube and Reels and whatever posting videos of themselves saying, if this don't happen, if we don't get our money, we finna loot, blah, blah, blah. Didn't see nearly as much of it as the media and as social media would have you think it's going to be. Like if you're anything like me, and I this is why I hate the algorithm, the great big mythical algorithm that puts shit in front of us that it knows we want to see based on the stuff we interact with in our social media usage. It puts things in front of us that it's being told to show us to maximize our engagement. The things that are going to rage bait us, the things that are going to fucking hold eyes on screen, that are going to make you finish reading that article, make you finish reading that post, make you watch that whole fucking video, make you make a response video, even if it's because you hate everything that you just watched. It's how the system's worked. It's how it's designed. It's not about truth or accuracy or facts. It's about engagement. It's all about keeping your eyes on that fucking screen because you are the product. Your attention is what those companies sell to make their money. It's not like social media exists just because it's funsies for everybody. They sell marketing space. It is the new fucking TV. You used to not be able to watch television without fucking ads. You can't scroll any social media feeds without ads popping up every so many swipes. And even if you pay for a premium account, you're still seeing them or they're getting your payment. But either way, your attention is the product. You are the fucking product for these platforms. So that's why you need to unplug every once in a while. That's why you need to remember that the real world isn't that shit. But everybody was saying, okay, November 1st is going to hit. We're going to see a bunch of people going out and start looting and blah, 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 blah. And there were a few incidences, and I'm going to come back to that. But the thing that, like I said, the unintentional revelation I saw behind this phenomena, this push, all these fucking retards who are out there screaming into their fucking $1,200 iPhones about how they better get their free shit or they're going to be causing trouble and nobody better try and stop them or they're people going to catch hands or catch fucking shells and just all this other retarded shit I saw in the last several weeks. And as I said last week, they're not making these videos trying to intimidate the government. No, not a single one of these hood rat pieces of shit think that Donald Trump is going to see their video and be like, oh, well, Pookie from the fucking hundreds says he's going to go out and swipe some shit if I don't give him his money. He better, here, let me give him his EBT. Or maybe they do think that. I mean, I've come back millions of times to this, or at least it feels like millions. I'm sure that's hyperbole, but I keep coming back to the whole everybody on this fucking planet has main character syndrome when most of them don't even realize they don't even make a good NPC. Everybody thinks that they're way more valuable and important than they are, including me. But at least I'm cognizant of it. At least I'm aware that I'm sitting down ranting and yelling into the fucking void, and my the 100 or so downloads this show is going to get this week, or maybe it'll be more, maybe less. I don't know. I don't look at the analytics. I'm spitballing at best. But however many 150 whatever, how many people listen to this show or will hear this show and come across this material, and I appreciate each and every last one of you. I don't think anything that comes out of my mouth is going to be significant enough to change anybody's trajectory in the fucking slightest. That's the big difference between me and all these delusional motherfuckers who think the world hangs on their fucking words. The people that think they're going to go out there and threaten the fucking government into doing what they want. We finna steal shit. Well, you finna go to jail, you dumb motherfuckers. We finna cap anybody that tries to stop us. As I said, you really don't need to do that. You don't want to do that because at some point, some hood rat motherfucker is going to pull that shit on the wrong fucking redneck and get ventilated. You're going to bleed out in a fucking parking lot, and it's going to be utterly retarded and completely preventable, completely avoidable by not being a piece of shit. It's really not a hard fucking metric to understand. If you go out and earn the things you want, nobody tries to stop you from getting them. If you buy the shit you're taking because that's how trade is supposed to work, you get to walk out and load it into your fucking car and go home with it, and nobody says shit to you. Unless you're dealing with some other ain't shit motherfucker in the parking lot who decides to try and rob you on the way to the car. And there's people that have said they're going to do that too. Oh, we getting white people in the parking lot. Motherfucker, white people are on EBT too. Fuck you. Or, we coming in your house and we're going to take what we need. Not if you're fucking smart, you won't. Because the people that, won't do anything about you breaking into their house and trying to take their shit are probably just as broke as you are. Or they're bleeding heart liberals and they'll just, oh, come on in here. Let me help you. What can I get you? Oh, no, you're right. It's okay. I can go buy more groceries. Those are the motherfuckers. Look for bitches with purple hair. Look for people with coexist stickers on their fucking cars. Look for fucking people that, have a Kamala Harris sticker on their fucking bumper. Look for the fucking retards with the, hate has no home here signs in their front yard. Those are the people you want to fucking rob, okay? Those are the ones where you're going to be able to do it and it's gonna work. You're gonna get away with it. You're gonna get some free shit because there's not a lot of indicators in my front yard of what kind of a person lives in my home. There's I don't have any of those fucking little redneck stickers. I don't call 911. This house protected by Smith and Wesson. I don't call cops. Things like that. Now, granted, I don't call 911. I'm not gonna be the. I call 811 if you break into my house because I live in Illinois and I don't want to deal with the fucking justice system in this fucking state that is going to treat me like a criminal for dealing with a criminal that broke into my house trying to threaten myself, my family, my health, my well-being. It's not worth the headache. I'd rather go out and dissolve them in a fucking bat of, I have no knowledge of how to dissolve a body. That would be wrong of me to know that. And furthermore, it would be illegal because I believe that's actually desecration of a corpse if you dissolve a body and then pour it into a sewer drain instead of calling the police. So my official stance is if you have to have a self-defense incident, please make sure you carry self-defense insurance and then deal with the police and go through the most likely way to happen. So that being said, yeah, I don't advertise my house. Okay, I have to address this. Yes, John, shoots a gun sideways like in Hollywood. I hate that trope. I hate people who think that's a good idea. I hate people who fucking do that, okay? I really do. That's one of my pet peeves. I can't stand people that don't use firearms in a practical manner. It bothers me. I'm sorry. And so but yeah, to get sidetracked. So Yeah, don't go out there breaking into people's houses because you didn't get your free shit, you worthless fucking parasites. Because I guarantee you, like I said, the people who are using the system the way it's intended, the people that actually need it help, not fucking just free shit, they're not the ones posting these videos. Nobody who's actually in a situation of desperation is pissed off. I mean, they're pissed off about what's going on, but they're not out there talking about we coming for yo shit because things aren't going the way they wanted to be. They're out there trying to cope and deal with their shit that they were trying to cope and deal with before this became a problem. People with real problems don't worry about making sure the world knows we're going to come steal your shit. Now, all of that being said, I went to the grocery store on the first. I went to a Walmart because why not? The things I needed were cheaper there. I need to make my dollar stretch as far as humanly fucking possible for the moment. So I mean, that's most of us most of the time. But but anyway, so I went there because to go to the local grocery store that's close to my house, needed some eggs. The same, a dozen eggs at the local grocery store by my house was like $7.89 for a dozen fucking eggs. Or I could drive an extra 10 minutes, go to fucking Walmart in the next town over, and get 5 dozen eggs for $9.98. So of course, Aaron goes to fucking Walmart to stretch them dollars till fucking George Washington's crying. There was not a single, raucous person. There was not a loud person. There was nothing ridiculous going on. And it was just everybody going through their day, regular Saturday morning, people going out grocery shopping, usual size crowd, not a huge noticeable difference in terms of how many people were in there. So, but it was actually a little more open than it normally would be on the first. I usually try to avoid going to the grocery store on the first or the 15th. Try and give it a few days to let the EBT people do their thing so I don't have to deal with them. Because, like I said, I bear no grudge against the people that are on it for the right reasons, but the people, again, people that are entitled to it, the people that are generational about it, yeah, they suck, and I don't want to be around them in general. I don't subject myself to dealing with motherfuckers. I'm too old to be around people I can't fucking stand on a regular basis unless you're paying me. So, yeah, I generally try to avoid them. But yeah, the first was actually really nice and calm and open, and I got all the shit I needed. It was in and out like 25 minutes, not bad at all. And yeah, didn't see anybody acting up, didn't see anything stupid, didn't see anybody getting raucous or retarded, and it's. I guess that goes back to the false narrative painted by social media. Again, part of it is it makes these motherfuckers think they're, more relevant than they are. They're more significant than they are. They think they've got more clout and more pull than they do. And maybe, who knows? Maybe they're waiting. Maybe they're going to try and get rowdy right before Thanksgiving so they can make sure they've got a good fresh turkey that they steal. I don't fucking know. But at the end of the day, and I just realized I've been saying this for like 17 fucking minutes at this point. And I'm going to come back to this point of what I noticed that is not something anybody I've really heard talking about is in this parasite class. Again, people that are saying, I get $3,000, $4,000 a month on EBT, on SNAP, on public aid. I only pay $50 for my fucking rent because I'm on Section 8. I've got 9 fucking kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. That lady actually, some broad posted a TikTok saying, are you mad taxpayers? Because I only pay $50 a month for my 2-bedroom apartment and a 10-story walk up because I got 7 kids and da 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 da. And then, somebody turned her into HUD because she was violating the terms of the contract by getting the 2-bedroom apartment and then having 7 people in it. So the occupancy was wrong. And so she lost her $50 a month apartment because she got snitched on for fucking gloating. And then she made another video bitching that she got kicked out. She had 30 days to find a place because somebody felt the need to dime on her. And I'm like, fuck around. You played stupid games. You won stupid prizes. Congratulations, you fat dumb cunt. How do you have 7 fucking kids? That's what I want to know because, just damn, bitch was big and ugly. It's a dangerous combination. And on top of that, you had a shit personality. I don't know who was fucking her, but anyway, that wasn't not the point. The thing that I saw about all this thing, it made me really get to thinking is not only does this the EBT fraud, the fucking career welfare people, the generational welfare people, the I don't have to do shit, I don't need to earn shit, fiscally illiterate fucking retards also don't have any capacity to think beyond the immediate. Like their planning for the future is fucking horrid because they had, I mean, let's just say, okay, you've been living the life, you've been doing your horse shit for your entire existence. You grew up on welfare. You're in your early 20s now. So, oh, I only been on public aid a couple of years. No, motherfucker, you were born into public aid and you got your own account for a couple of years. So they have, but they're, complete, like I say, completely fiscally illiterate, coupled with no long-term thought processes at all. Never thought, oh, this could all go away. Never thought I could lose my free shit. Never thought maybe people are going to get sick of my shit and cut us off. Never thought maybe somebody will find out that the system's full of fraud and corruption and the whole thing's going to fucking break. Never had the wherewithal to think that maybe the system itself is going to collapse and you're going to need to be able to survive when that happens. Or more immediately, people that knew back in October that the fucking government was shut down and you're not going to get a reload in November if this shutdown doesn't happen. Instead of saying, I got $3,000 now, maybe I should do something smart and buy shit that's going to last. Maybe I shouldn't buy fucking ding-dongs and ho-hos and ice cream and bullshit. Maybe I should stock up on some shit in case this shutdown fucks up next month. I mean, I'm not even saying long-term thinking. I'm saying short, in the grand scheme of things, relatively short-term logic. Very public, ridiculous, loud-ass debate going on. Every social media platform, every news outlet is covering this shutdown. Everybody is showing the fight, saying this could be a problem. And not a single one of these motherfuckers had the wherewithal to go, I should buy canned goods and shelf-stable shit. Not a one of them. If I had a $3,000 a month grocery budget, I don't care if you put 10 people in my fucking house. There's going to be leftovers. There's going to be emergency supplies. There's going to be a surplus of shit. And I don't think, I mean, I do think that I'm smarter than most fucking people. I was raised better than most fucking people. I have more common sense than most fucking people. It's a huge commentary on our society that can all be fucking true for some degenerate fucking failure like myself. It's utterly retarded that I don't have the resources to do the things I logically know I should be able to do. And if I had those resources, I wouldn't be sitting here going, well, here, I'm going to spend everything that comes to me and I'm going to take this because I know it's going to come back again next month. It's the short-sightedness is, and it's got to be deliberate. It's got to be another one of those. It's not a bug. It's a fucking feature scenarios. It's got to be a case of it helps keep them fucking dependent. It helps keep them that just, when you don't think about the fucking future, when you don't have a future, you don't fucking dream, you don't ever think about being better or doing better, you are fine staying as a dependent fucking serf class. Although that's not really, I don't think that's even a fair analogy because serfs at least contributed to the overall, value of their lord's property. They worked the land, they grew the food, they fucking hauled the buckets full of shit out of the tower. These people don't do anything besides breathe and fuck. So I really don't, I mean, other than votes, it's vote farming by keeping these fucking retarded motherfuckers alive. Beyond that, it's, I mean, their power just because of the numbers, they don't actually provide anything or they don't contribute anything. They are not a net positive on the fucking system. But this need to sustain them is actually, okay, tinfoil hat time. From a megalomaniacal maintaining control standpoint, when you have the entire, what should be middle class bettering themselves, if you are draining their resources to support this ever expanding fucking bottom feeding parasite class, when you keep them from getting ahead, it's a it's a pretty solid suppressive technique when you stop and think about it. I mean, again, purely from an analytical standpoint, it's not right. It's not a good thing to be doing. It's not a moral stance to take. And again, anybody, I'm sure everybody at some point will say, could find something I've said or done just in the course of this show, just over the last 5 years. I'm pretty sure you could go back and find something I've said that you personally don't agree with that makes you think I'm a morally reprehensible individual because I believe it. And do a prime example, since Kate's in the chat now, it was a couple weeks ago when I said I'm perfectly comfortable telling an 8-year-old that they're not getting fed because their parents are pieces of shit. I am. And that's probably morally reprehensible from where she stands because she's a person with a kind heart and a good soul. I'm not. I used to be. I used to be a very generous, kind, caring person. And that's probably what turned me into the rotten bastard that I am today. That's probably why I am so fucking angry all the time. It's probably why I am such a miserable son of a bitch when it comes to my fellow man. Because once upon a time when I was young and optimistic and I had the best faith that the world was going to be going to a better route, the world was going to get into something better because it was an option. There was, again, like I said earlier, every life had this limitless fucking potential. People could be or do anything. And then I saw what the vast majority of this fucking country did with that potential, what humanity in general does with that fucking potential. To a certain point, it fucking broke me. No, it's not the kid's fault. I understand that. I'm not saying it's the kid's fault. I'm saying it's the kid's parents' fault. And if the kid understands that, maybe the kid will try and be better. But saying, oh, here, let's just cover for your parents being a worthless sack of shit and not let you understand that the situation exists because of their choices is not doing that kid any fucking favors. I am that rotten bastard that wants that kid to understand what a fucking failure their parents are. And, you know, like I said, it seems like it's changed in just a generation, maybe 2 generations now that people my age are getting up there where we're starting to be grandparents. So maybe it's 2 generations now at this point. But I've seen some kids coming back to the old ways in a lot of ways. So I have my faith in humanity has been slightly restored. But there was a time where if you reached a certain age and you realized everything that was wrong in your life was deliberately due to one person being a fucking self-entitled lazy sack of shit, you'd cut ties with that person. You'd move on. It would suck. It would be horrible. It would be hurtful. It would be a shitty fucking thing. But at the same time, people that don't want to be helped, people that don't want to do for themselves, that don't want to better their situations, people that are not only content, but believe they deserve to not have to do the same work as every fucking buddy else. It's a case of so sad, too bad. Why should the rest of society be dragged down with you because of your entitlement, your fucking belief that you are somehow your time, your belief, your existence is somehow more valuable than the people that have to go out there and work for it? So yeah, again, there was a time where I was very sympathetic, where I felt terrible for these people, and in a lot of ways, I still do feel terrible. I feel bad for every fucking kid that's out there because it's not their fault up to a certain point. After you get to a certain age where you are capable of rational thought and understanding things, they used to test for these things. They used to teach you to be a critical thinker, to have a certain degree of cognition, where we had standards where by the time you were in 4th or 5th grade, you were expected to know the difference between right and wrong, the difference between good and bad. You were expected to understand values and belief, and you were capable of saying, that is what you're doing is wrong. This is not okay. So at the end of the day, like I said, I honestly believe the powers that be, the control, it's deliberate. I mean, this push not only in education but in culture, in society, has been deliberately done to grow this bottom feeding parasite class, to remove the shame of being fucking dependent, to remove the stigma that went with these programs. When I was a kid, when you were a kid, when pretty much anybody listening to the show, because I know my demographics, I get some younger listeners. I'm pretty sure that's like my kid and a couple of his friends. I'm pretty sure that's about it. But, I could be wrong too. It could be some random ass teenagers that somehow think I'm funny because I say things like fuck Muppet and smooth brain and all this other shit. But at the end of the day, this is a deliberate act. It's fifth column fucking warfare in a lot of ways. When it stopped being about being able to count, being able to think, being able to read, being fucking literate should not be a outlandish benchmark. If you can't read, you shouldn't be able to pass. First off, the whole No Child Left Behind nonsense was fucking more damaging to children on the whole than anything else that came along after that, because it said, instead of saying you need to work harder to meet the standards, they said the standards are unfair to you because stupid fucking reasons. Oh, look, you have a certain ethnicity, you have a certain melanin count, you obviously can't handle the same fucking standards as everybody else who, so let's lower the standards instead of expecting you to fucking be better. When that, and it was sold under the guise of empathy. That's the worst thing about it. That is one of the factors that killed my empathy, is when the powers that be, when these evil, manipulative, selfish motherfuckers capitalized on the average person's good nature, the kindness that is inherent in an entire generations of people, because we were taught to be kind. We grew up with fucking Mr. Rogers telling us, hey, you know what? You need to be good. You need to be nice. You need to be kind. Accept people for being people. We grew up on Mr. Rogers, and motherfuckers used that empathy that was taught to us from the fucking time we could walk to manipulate us, to make us feel bad, to hamstring us, and to create an entire generation of dumb motherfuckers that will do what they're told, hand over everything, because if they don't do what they're told, if the government takes it away from us, if anybody, the problem with it is anything that this shutdown is a prime fucking example, but unfortunately the masses are too fucking stupid to analyze what's right in front of them and say, this is a sign. If anything, this should be inspiring motherfuckers across the country to go out and get their shit together. Because anything that is given to you by somebody else can be just as easily taken the fuck away. Now, that's why I am so just staunchly, I mean, when it comes to like the right to defend yourself with the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, the reason I believe that everyone should at least be knowledgeable in the operation of a firearm. You may not have to fucking have one. I'm not saying you have to carry one if you're uncomfortable with it. I'm not saying you have to be in the right mind. I mean, taking another person's life is a massive fucking step. It's traumatic for everybody that's not a fucking sociopath. It's not something that anybody should ever want to do or have to do, because, and that's the way I was raised. You can see dumb motherfuckers in every major city in the country that have zero value for human life, partly because they were raised that why should there be any value attached to a human life when it's just somebody else is going to give you all your shit. So whether you exist or not doesn't really change anything. And I see that's like all these deep blue areas with fucking illiterate motherfuckers that are perfectly content, if not happy, knowing that they don't know shit. They just want to run the streets, do hooligan shit, run with their boys, get that paper, blah, 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 whatever ignorant, retarded things that a lot of people would say I'm racist for saying it because, oh, well, you're talking about a certain demographic. No, I'm not, because you know what? I know people of literally every shade and ethnicity and fucking genetic background that fall into that category, that people that want to run the streets, people that want to be out there doing dumb hood shit, white, black, purple, brown, yellow, I don't fucking care. There are people out of every fucking group that fit this description. It's not an ethnic thing. It's not a racial thing. It's a scumbag thing versus people that actually want to exist and matter in the fucking world. It's a mentality. It's been bred. It's been forced. It's been taught. It's been coached. It's been cajoled. It's been packaged by fucking Hollywood and wrapped up in a neat little bow. They take it down hook, line, and sinker because that goes part and parcel with getting all your free shit. And it's just this, it's this whole just retarded peasant class that is out there showing their ass in many fucking ways. And to address something that came up 15 minutes ago in the chat or whatever, when I was talking about the people with no foresight, no planning, that have all this money, that aren't buying in bulk, aren't preparing their things. Yeah, no, most of them probably don't know how to fucking cook either. I mean, it's kind of a given, because somewhere along the lines, parents stopped teaching their kids how to cook. They stopped teaching them how to survive, and that's part and parcel of the whole fucking thing. Yeah, buying shit in bulk only works if you know how to prepare it. But by that same token, you can still buy ready-made shit in bulk too. It does exist. Commercial packaging of, heat and eat shit does exist. Now, granted, me being a chef says, yeah, I'm gonna be able to cope with the food thing a little bit better than your average motherfucker. That's just me using my knowledge and my skill set for my own benefit. And that's, on the other hand, in today's day and time, there is not a single fucking reason why a person can't figure these things out yourself. There's not a single fucking reason other than the lack of desire or the lack of fucking even thought that this is something they should consider, that any one of these hood rat motherfuckers that are getting a $3,000 a month EBT balance couldn't go on to fucking YouTube on that $1,200 phone that they are fucking recording their stupid bitchy videos in and find out instructions on how to prepare these things, on how to, how to fucking survive like an adult, how to cope in the real fucking world. But no, instead they'd rather get on their fucking phone and make a video threatening people and telling you we're gonna steal and we're gonna rob and we're gonna do this shit because we deserve free shit. And then we're gonna keep voting for the dumb motherfuckers that are holding the government hostage right now because they're the ones that are on our side because they said we should have this free shit. White people bad, Republicans bad, conservatives bad, people that say EBT should be a fucking hand up, not a handout. All those motherfuckers don't want us to live, so fuck them because, but why? Because they want you to do the same work they're expected to do? Believing in fairness and balance is somehow a bad thing, and we're all pieces of shit for saying you should go out and go to fucking work. Yeah, I can't get behind that. I can't co-sign that. My empathy has been destroyed by a system that deliberately used it to create this situation in the first fucking place. Like I said, you go back 2 generations to when I was a kid, and I grew up with friends that were fairly well off. I grew up with friends that had white collar parents. I grew up with friends that really fucking weren't. I grew up with friends that were on public aid. I grew up with friends that lived in single income houses with 3 fucking siblings and had to do what they had to do to get by. But none of them, not a single one of those people that I know from then are still on public aid to start with. When my friends that grew up in that, we grew up in the 90s and it was like, if I'm broke, I'm going to hustle my ass off until I get better, until I have the things I want. Now, like I said, and granted, that was the environment I grew up in. That's not the entire world. That's, like I said, I'm sure there were people in Chicago in the 90s that were already 2 generations deep on fucking public aid that didn't see a fucking problem with it. But, again, that's kind of the litmus test for a lot of these things. That's the deep blue fucking areas is where it starts and where it spreads out from. And you'll get, when you say things like that, all of a sudden you get these people are, well, there's more white people in rural areas on public aid than there is in the cities. Well, yeah, I understand that, but when you point to those numbers, you're kind of saying that you don't actually have a rebuttal for the actual argument that's being made, and instead you want to switch your to numbers, to statistics, and even those numbers are. Yes, if you're looking at a pure per capita situation, yeah, there's more white people than all the other minorities and receiving different forms of assistance from the government. But when you look at it in relationship to the ratio of the population of their percentage of the population of the country, then those numbers shift. That's why I don't take the numbers too fucking seriously when people want to start trying to throw shit back in my face. When you say, oh, well, there's more white people than all the other people combined on public aid, you go, yeah, that's true. But when you look at the percentages of the population of this country, when you consider that white people make up 60% of the country, 10% of those white people is going to be a hell of a lot more than, the other percentages all lumped together just by sheer fucking volume. Like I said, the whole situation irritates me. It's a case of it's a cultivated fucking situation. It's a dependency that exists because somebody out there decided this was the best way to manipulate the population of this country into whatever it is whatever their fucking end game is. And I try not to talk about the stuff too much because it makes me sound all tinfoil hatty. I don't I mean, I'm not, they're turning the freaking frogs gay. And, it's time to put another dollar in the Alex Jones was right jar. But at the end of the day, this can't be accidental. This can't be an organically occurring thing because for literally generations, the human race constantly was evolving towards better, towards, creating better art, creating new things, creating innovation, creating new systems, creating betterment for the entire species. And then all of a sudden that gets derailed, and the lead country for all this evolution, for all this change, for all this creation, for all the innovations for the future, all of a sudden starts tail spinning into a fucking third world country because we've created an entire dependent class that keeps the middle class broken, and meanwhile the elites continue to do their own fucking thing for whatever fucking nefarious reason it is. Because I refuse to believe anybody that wants to stop progress is doing it for the benefit of mankind. I mean, who knows? I could be completely missing the mark out there. Maybe if we progress too far, the aliens are going to come down and kill us all because we're a threat to the galaxy or some shit. Because, human thought is so primitive, it's considered a virus, or any of the other great sci-fi narratives as to why the fucking population of the galaxy would want to keep us the fuck away from them. I'm pretty sure if there are aliens out there, they treat Earth like most people treat bad neighborhoods. They roll up their windows, lock the doors, and get past as quick as they fucking can. But, that's just my 2 pennies on the matter. And I think that's probably enough bitching and whining about the EBT situation from out of me. Although one thing, the thing I said I was going to circle back to, I did see a few videos of people out there saying they were stealing shit because they didn't get their EBT. Now, granted, that's especially considering where the videos I've seen this happened, what was taken, and who was doing it. I'm going to say it was a case of opportunistic looting. Wasn't protesting. It wasn't stealing shit to support their families. It was a bunch of late teens, early 20s, primarily in urban areas because that's where this shit happens. There was one from Portland. There was one from somewhere in, I want to say fucking Arkansas. There was one that came in out of fucking, I think it was Miami, and one out of Maryland. I mean, it was one of those ones where I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. But it was some deep blue area where a bunch of motherfuckers, every single one of these things. I mean, there was like a Target, a Walmart, no shame, no fear, no acting like repercussions are going to happen. It's a case of the one I saw, literally, it sickened me. Like I saw it and I had to fucking turn it off. Because I was losing my shit. It made me so infuriated because in this video it was a bunch of people stealing shit from a Target, and it was not groceries. It was not all groceries. They were swiping fucking, there was all the clothes in the cart. There was fucking, and they literally just filled their carts up, went through the self-checkout, and then just didn't pay. I mean, bagged their shit, loaded it up into the carts, and then fucking walked out with it. Had children with them. This is the part that infuriated me. This is the part that got me so goddamn worked up that I had to turn it off. It's not real often I get that fucking enervated at the stupidity and the shittiness of people. I mean, I'm a pretty jaded asshole at this point. I assume the worst out of pretty much fucking everybody. Until I get to know you, I'm going to assume you're either looking for a place to stab me in the back or you're trying to figure out how you can get over on me so I can help you. And maybe you're not intentionally going to fuck me, but at the same time, you're not going to feel bad if I get fucked. In this video, parents, her mom, auntie, fucking a couple of big bitches, like high calorie fucking human beings, not small individuals, people who've been eating good on their fucking EBT, loaded up their carts, walked out. Security at the fucking Target tried to stop them. Bitch, we taking this shit. You don't like it? Tell them we need this and we ain't got it. Get my money back. And I can't even remember exactly what this bitch said. Then kids come out, probably 7, 8, 9. They're all carrying shit too, just walking out. And, they're not stealing food. They're not stealing things they need. Every single one of them has toys. because baby got to have toys. If they're gonna go looting, we might as well go in all in. Then comes a infant, could not have been more than 3 years old. Walks out, he's got a piece of fruit and a fucking doll. Mom says to the kid, "Baby, that's all you want." Literally encouraging an infant to steal more, and that's where I had to turn it off. That fucking broke me. Where I was just like, I can't. If I'm gonna continue to have my mentality in anything resembling a functional place, I can't keep watching this shit. I have to walk away from it. I have to stop looking at this shit because it's infuriating. And that was the worst one for me. That was the one where I was just like, humanity's fucking doomed. Bring on the meteor. These motherfuckers. These parents should have their kids. I mean, I'm not huge on the concept of breaking up families, but at this point, that's not a family. That's a fucking criminal enterprise. It's you're doing the kids a disservice by leaving them with those adults. I hesitate to call them parents. They're not. They're not raising kids. They're not doing their jobs. They are failing as fucking parents. They're fucking spawners. They're breeders. That's all they fucking are. They're not parents. But beyond that, the other videos I watch were all very similar things. Tons of them at fucking convenience stores, quickie mart type places, fucking gas stations. Never a Buc-ee's because, the kind of people that go to Buc-ee's probably carry guns. But, all kinds of little fucking urban bodegas and fucking gas stations and fucking convenience stores. They're stealing fucking liquor. They're stealing fucking junk food. They're stealing fucking cigarettes and vapes. They're not stealing to survive. They're stealing because somebody out there put it in their heads that they've got an excuse now. It's just like the fucking George Floyd riots. It's just like the fucking Summer of Love shit. It's just like the riots in Kenosha. It's just like every other thing that happened in 2020 where this fucking country was burning on a regular basis and the Democrats were fucking encouraging it. Somebody gave them a pass. They said, "Oh, you know what? It's time to go and indulge in your most antisocial behaviors. Do all the shit that you think you should be able to do, but society says you're not allowed to. Well, it's time to show them that you're special, you're unique. You go out, you steal those TVs, you get those fucking shoes, you get that fucking car." Because there was actually a bunch of cars stolen during the fucking Summer of Love. You know how I know? Because there were 27 fucking cars stolen off a dealership in Joliet. Now, granted, they were all recovered almost immediately, I think. Or one or two of them might have actually made it to a chop shop. But for the most part, they were all recovered because somebody broke in, stole the fucking keys out of the fucking lockbox in a dealership and, fucking Chargers and fucking trucks. None of these fucking brain surgeons that were out there swiping shit stopped to go, "Hey, you know what every car made since 2014 has on it? OnStar, tracking, GPS." It was, literally entry level crime by a bunch of fucking retards who were convinced they were going to get away with it because they all thought they were something special. And society and the fucking people we're supposed to look to for leadership told them, "You know what? You're right. You go. You deserve that free shit. You go steal some shit you never would have had if you didn't just go out and swipe it because you don't actually earn or contribute or deserve anything. But you think you deserve it because somewhere out there, somebody that you follow said this is the way. And you were dumb enough to fucking listen." So, so they stole a bunch of cars with GPSs and then tons of people got caught over it. Businesses ain't going to put up with that shit. So I'm pretty sure most of the car theft people went to jail. Okay, so Bruce over in the in the Zoom chat has asked for my views on Mandami. I think the guy is a commie piece of shit. I think he should have been flung out of a fucking helicopter like all the rest of the commies should be. I'm throwing Bernie in on that too. Fuck Bernie as long as I'm talking shit about people. Mandami, he is saying all the things to capitalize on the stupidity of the masses that, again, you go back to, looked at the fucking 50s and 60s when the Red Menace was rising in fucking China and Russia. And you'll see it. There was a fucking playbook. It exists. Marxism, Leninism, socialism in general has a fucking handbook. Maoism, fucking the Red Dawn. They had college educated idiots that pushed socialism through until the fucking Communist Party took power, and those were the first motherfuckers that wound up against the wall. The guy is a fucking communist Muslim who panders to fucking alphabet people and college educated white people retards that literally I believe he will be the textbook case of once he gets into power, you're going to find out where his real loyalties lie. He's either going to be a full blown communist or a full blown jihadist. There's not, those two are not like compatible in any way. Either way, his I feel like his true colors are going to come out once he gets into office. Um, because like I said, he serves two masters that are not compatible with each other based on his public persona. Um, so he's pandering to the alphabet people. He's, being seen at gay clubs at 1 o'clock in the morning, serving alcohol and having a bunch of dudes that are into each other. That's all really against, the Quran. It's all haram. It's not bueno. So, uh, so honestly, at the end of the day, yeah, I like I said, I think he's going to get elected. I think it's a wrap at this point. New York is fucking doomed, and it can go one of two ways. It can be an object lesson for the rest of us, which is what I really kind of hope comes from this. Watch that city collapse and go from being the jewel of the fucking country to the fucking cesspool. Have it turn into a full blown third world shithole in real time, which I think would probably be the best case scenario for the rest of the country. The problem is all the fucking retards with resources that will have the option to flee the shithole of their creation are going to do that, and they generally don't learn, so they're going to drag their fucking can behind them of kicking those bad policies down the road and fuck up wherever they wind up. So, and yes, Bruce, I agree. We were Bernie Bros once upon a time. I lost all respect for that man when he fucking took the silver, kissed the ring, and fucking doubled down on going from like reasonable accommodation for like, yes, people should be good to each other to everybody should get free shit because everything that people want is a right. And oh, by the way, billionaires are bad now, but millionaires are okay because now I'm a millionaire because I've never had a real job in my life. I've been a career parasite, but that's okay because my millions are okay. I need a private jet to get around because without that private jet, I'd have to fly like the peasants. I mean, Bernie's a piece of shit. He sold his soul. If anything, I hate him more because of that. Because of the fact that once upon a time I respect him and he fucking just failed so fucking hard. Fuck that guy. Comment from Ken on YouTube. New York and Minneapolis are about to change for the worse tomorrow during their elections for mayors. I completely agree. Speaking to Mondami in New York, I've already said the place is going to fucking just collapse under its own fucking hubris. And frankly, I don't care. This is what you get, you dumb motherfuckers. Now, Minneapolis, I feel more for the people of Minneapolis. Now, granted, you keep in Minnesota, you keep electing retarded leftist shitheads to all branches of the government. It's a shame, really. Minneapolis, though, in particular, between Ilhan Omar and the fucking little "I'm the captain now" looking motherfucker that they're going to elect for their mayor. That those people were not elected based on American values and politics. It's a case of they were elected, or he's going to be elected. She was elected through the 80,000 Somali refugees that Obama put there. He brought in 80,000 people, literally an entire voting block, situated them in one section of the country and created this fucking situation. If he would have dispersed them around the country, none of them they wouldn't have had the pull to get anybody anywhere. But instead, you situated them all in one location. You just created a voting block that has the power to overturn a local election to what you want. And they're all appreciative of him for putting them there and yay, 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 and ugh. Like it's a cultivated nightmare. So I feel more sympathy for the people of Minnesota and Minneapolis than I do for the vast majority of New Yorkers because, I mean, again, the guy's a full blown commie and he's a jihadist and he's on record saying all this retarded shit. And if you're voting for him, you deserve what you fucking get. Now, again, Minnesota imported voter base. they got fucked by the federal government as far as I'm concerned. Now, granted, they were voting for douchey left-wing assholes anyway, so sympathy's tempered, but at least it exists. I have none for New York. All right, well, I guess at this point we're going to put a pin in it, and I'm going to say for now that's what I had to say. Thanks for hanging out, guys.